Welcome to D-List Diaries After Dark, where it's about to get spooky.
Boo!
That was kind of scary.
That was like a witch laugh. Do it again.
Ooh.
It reminds me of Hocus Pocus.
I still haven't watched that.
We all... What?
Well, this season. Like, in life, yes, but...
Oh, I thought you meant in your whole entirety of your life. I'm like, okay, whoa.
I'm not a lunatic.
I'm not a serial killer. We could dress up as Hocus Pocus, you guys. There's 3 of us.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm not wearing that red lipstick, though. That was hideous.
She's funny.
You can be
I feel like
Sarah
that one
Jessica
would be
Parker.
Nicole.
I'll be Winifred. Ooh, children.
Which one? What's the other one?
She's like, I smell children.
Why can't I think of their names? I only know Winifred right now because she's obviously my favorite. She's the most evil.
And I would be, the other one's like the head honcho that's like Bette Midler or whatever, right?
That's Winifred. It's Bette Midler.
Hocus Pocus it is.
Well, actually, speaking of witches, have you, probably not Kirsten, but Gina, have you been watching Agatha all along?
No. Well, I don't even know what it is.
So it's, you know the Scarlet Witch? She's a Marvel character.
I should, because I love Marvel, but no.
She was Wanda Maximoff, fell in love with Vision, the Scarlet Witch. She had the twin Pietro. Well, anyway, so she has this show called WandaVision on Disney Plus, and one of the characters, the actress's name is escaping me, but she is an evil witch named Agatha, and she got her own show called Agatha All Along, and it is phenomenal. A little scary, actually, but like Disney scary, and it's my new jam, because you know I love witchcraft.
Oh my gosh, Nicole, are you going to be a witch for Halloween?
Like Salem witchcraft.
Like historical witchcraft.
Yes.
Not weird witchcraft.
Like cauldron Salem witchcraft, not like, I don't know.
Like true Hocus Pocus.
Yes, exactly. So I recommend you watch it along with everyone else. Kirsten, it's not too scary for you. It's just a little like witch scary.
If it's like Hocus Pocus, then I can watch it. Is it animated?
No, it's real life.
Okay.
Let the
Real-life
world
witches.
know that I hate scary movies.
I don't like horror movies either.
Yeah, none of
I don't
us
want to
do.
see blood. I don't want to see... I have enough anxiety day to day.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm always living full gas pedal. I don't need my blood pressure on the rise when I get home, too.
Gina, I'm going to tell your girls to do a prank on you, a Halloween prank. And record you and send it to us.
It's actually funny because I've been listening to Halloween music. So I love, the Monster Mash.
Like the #1 Halloween
It
song.
was a graveyard smash.
You should go into the show business. Oh my God.
So I do like Halloween. I love Halloween music. I mean, clearly I just love everything theatrical because I like makeup. I also thought about dressing up as Beetlejuice. Nicole, you'll appreciate this. When I was in hair school, I won the costume contest
As Beetlejuice?
as Beetlejuice, and it was badass. We can upload a photo.
Yes.
Yes, we
Instagram.
need pictures.
So I might have to do it again because it's been 10 years. Exactly.
Would you look at that? Can we do a girls' day and see Wicked?
I'll cry.
We have all
Okay.
these plans that we've never made come true. And so I'm down if y'all are, but we need to stick to our plan.
Yes, I will go see Wicked with it. Is it here? Is it coming?
Oh, no, it's coming to the movies with Ariana Grande,
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely do that.
which brings me to a larger topic
Oh,
that...
wait, hold on, wait. Before we go to the larger topic, I want to tell y'all something real fast.
Okay, it's related. Okay.
Okay, speaking of performances, did I tell y'all I went to go see Moulin Rouge? Oh my God.
It's here right now.
Yes, y'all have to see it. It's a must-see performance. Like, Gina, especially since you said you like theatrical things. Like, I was singing in my seat. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go on stage, knowing I didn't try
You
out.
should have.
Listen, my minor in college was musical theater.
That was my favorite in high school because I went to a performance arts school here in Nashville. So I love musical theater too. That's my favorite. And I was like, oh my gosh, this show is beautiful. So Wicked already came to TPAC. But Moulin Rouge is here, and I think this is probably their last week if they're not already gone.
Maybe I can go next week. I did see Wicked in 2004, which was Those That Love History. Its opening year.
With Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth?
Kristen Chenoweth, I saw it and I cried.
Oh my god!
But I do, it's back to Halloween. I love costume. I love makeup, clearly hair, Halloween music. Like, I love I'll watch, like, The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't don't really care for, like, Scream, forget the freaking Saw movies.
No.
Like, but people love that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, this feels demonic.
Yeah, I like the fantasy Halloween, not the horror. And I don't like masks. Like, I don't want anyone approaching me in a mask, even if it's not a scary one, because it's automatically scary that I cannot see their face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to a haunted house. I don't want anyone chasing me with a fake chainsaw.
I never go to haunted houses. I feel like it's a waste of money. Do y'all remember that show on Disney called Halloween Town? Didn't they wear masks on that show or something? I can't remember it all the way.
Well, there's like 4 movies: Halloween Town, Return of Calabar, or Calabar's Revenge, Halloween Town High. There's a few of them.
I didn't know it was that many Halloween Towns. I just remember the main one that used to come on Disney.
With Kimberly J. Brown, who just married her co-star from Halloween Town recently. Like, are you not up on the Disney Halloween?
I'm not up on it. You know you usually keep me up on all the things.
Whew.
I have to go look at that later today.
Well, there's this apparently very scary haunted house thing called Nashville Nightmares that's right up the block from us. And I made Chris go with his brother last week because I was like, I love you, but not enough to go do that. And he's like, there were children there. I don't care if there were newborns there.
I don't care.
No way, because when you were talking about that woman on Love is Blind and you told her to go ride that duck with her fiance, you should have went to that haunted house with Chris.
Well, riding a duck is not something that terrifies me. Like, I'm not willing to do something that I know is going to upset me. But as part of Chris's birthday, every year I agree to watch one scary movie of his choosing.
That's sweet.
And this year, he's still away for work, but I already gave him the fire pit I got him for his birthday. So this weekend, we're going to set up a fire in the backyard and watch the scary movie on the projector.
Aww.
And
what
he
is
gets
it?
to pick it. It's his choosing. Last year, he chose, what's the one with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Halloween.
Yeah, which was dumb. But I have to watch it. I'm not allowed to, like, sit and read my book or play on my phone. I have to watch it.
That needs to be my rule because I'm over here getting told that I have to watch a Halloween movie every night. And I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in that amount of anxiety.
Right.
I just cover my face the whole time anyway.
Nicole, you're such a sweet wife. That's so sweet to watch at least one. I wouldn't want to watch any of that either because I'm not interested at all.
I don't want to, but it makes the man happy, and he agreed to watch Practical Magic, which he's never seen, and I think he'll actually love.
What a good one.
I've never seen that.
Kirsten, stop going out so much and stay home on your couch and watch TV. Like, you need to rot a little more.
I know, but if I stay home and try to watch something, if I'm not interested, then I'll fall asleep.
Practical Magic is phenomenal.
A classic. The other one is Death Becomes Her. Please watch it.
I don't know this one. What is this?
It's so good. It has Goldie Hawn.
Okay, already up
I
there.
forgot who her co-star is, but you'll love it. It's like on the same level of Practical Magic. It might be a little older. It might be like early 90s. But basically they drink some potion that doesn't allow them to die. Like it's supposed to keep them young and beautiful forever. And then they like used to be best friends, but then they become enemies. So then the whole movie is them like trying to kill one another, but they can't die.
But they can't die.
That's pretty crazy. Like the stuff that happens to them, you're like, oh my God.
That actually sounds like it would be a really good book to read.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know how sometimes they turn books into movies.
That is actually the larger conversation I wanted to have when we first mentioned Wicked. Is I was having this debate with my dad because he loves Broadway more than any straight man should. But books, TV shows, plays, movies, I feel like adaptations, like everything they're making these days is an adaptation of a play, a book, a movie, whatever. I don't think there are very many TV shows or movies that do books or plays justice. But there are some that I think don't do it as well, but do it in their own version that still makes it really enjoyable. Like Hairspray, for example, amazing play, amazing movie. The play is infinitely better, but the movie is still phenomenal. But then there's things like Rent. I don't know if you've seen the play or movie, but the play is in a galaxy on its own, and the movie shouldn't have even been made.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about Rent.
I feel this came up because did you guys watch? Why are names escaping me? This is what happens after 8 p.m. But it was the limited series on Netflix with Nicole Kidman. I want to call it The Perfect Couple.
I started to, and I was like, I can't.
The book was great. The show just, I don't know if it's because I knew what was supposed to happen and it wasn't following it accurately, but the show was just so bad.
I watched like half an episode, and I was like, this feels like it's not, like it should have been good, given like the plot that was going on, but I was like a little lost. I was like, this feels weird.
I haven't watched it. What was the plot?
So basically, there's a wedding, and the day of the wedding, the maid of honor is found dead, and they're trying to figure out who did it. But in the book, each chapter is from a different person's perspective, and it's called The Perfect Couple because there's all these different couples involved. Spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't read or watched, just fast forward 2 minutes. But from the book's perspective, it goes through all these different couples and shows how they all have these secrets, and they're not really the perfect couple on the outside. So it's actually kind of interesting because each one is kind of intertwined and connected. And it turns out in the end that she actually wasn't murdered. It was accidental, but all of these things happened that led her to accidentally die. Like one woman tried to poison someone else, not kill them, just make them sleep. So this way her husband wouldn't sleep with them. And then the woman was actually giving her drink to this other woman because she was secretly pregnant. So she accidentally was poisoned and then drowned, but no one intentionally meant to kill her. It was just this weird chain of events. But very, very good storytelling. And the show, I was just like, I don't understand. What are we doing here? And I feel like that's been happening recently. So I'm excited for Wicked, the movie, but I don't think it'll compare to the play. But I do think it'll be different because there's so much more they can do visually that they can't do in theater. So that will be exciting.
Mm-hmm. It's always the visuals that's more exciting than the light show and the costumes and the music.
Not
When it comes to
really.
plays.
I feel like, yeah, when you're like living in it
Yeah.
on Broadway, and you're like,
On Broadway, yeah.
what the heck? It's like a movie can't even do that justice because it's like so magical that everything is live, and the lights and the singing and all of it's like in your face surrounds. It's like not on a screen, you know?
I mean, I cry at the end of every single play because it's such an experience.
I didn't cry after Moulin Rouge. I was clapping. I was super excited about it. And it's so crazy because they sung a lot of modern songs that we know, like pop songs that we know. They sung Lady Gaga, Romance. I love that song.
So is it like a modernized version of the original play?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was singing like every song, and they sung Chandelier, and they sung like...
Okay, Nicole, should we get tickets for next week?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all have to go see it. That's why I was like sitting there trying not to sing so people can hear my voice and they can actually enjoy the play. I'm like sitting there humming.
JoJo is in the version on Broadway right now, and I've been dying to go and see her in it because I'm her number one fan, but I feel like this could be a cool second best to seeing her on Broadway.
Yeah, it definitely can. Y'all have to see it.
It's over.
It's over?
It's over.
Mamma Mia's coming, I think, to TPAC. I might have made that up.
I'm so sad.
Y'all have to travel to go see that.
Mamma Mia.
Another one of my favorite. I could literally geek out on Broadway all day. Like, my whole Spotify wrap-up is going to be like show tunes and bedtime stories. But I finally finished. It's been a full year because I started first week of January. I finished my fantasy books, my Sarah J. Maas books. You know, all those
All of
really
them.
long ones. I finished. So I currently have a Sarah J. Maas hangover right now because I feel like my emotions were so heightened, and now I don't know what to do with myself, but my coworker thankfully sent me, there's some like extra chapters and fan fiction and these other podcasts where people talk about the literary elements of the books. So I'm about to deep dive and be my nerdiest self. So I am very excited.
Heck yeah.
I was hoping that you found something after you finished all those books. I was like, she's going to need something else after that.
Well, I did. There's so many new books that came out this year that I haven't read because I've been so focused on these. So right now I'm reading, you know who Kevin Kwan is? He wrote Crazy Rich Asians and a few other books, which that actually is a book that was very good. But the movie, I think, did it justice because they do a very good job of character development the way they do it in the book. So that will be a top contender for movie is almost as good as the book. But he wrote a few other books, and I'm reading his most recent one now.
Would you restart that series?
The fantasy ones?
Yeah.
I mean, not now because they're so
Fresh.
but I would restart them in maybe like 2 years. But she's apparently writing more. She hasn't announced anything yet, but I would reread. Like the first series I read had, I think, 5 books, and I think she's working on the 6th. So I would reread 1 through 5 and then go right into 6 when it comes out.
I always wonder, because, you know, like sometimes when you rewatch a movie, you're like, ooh, I didn't catch that.
I do that.
You like catch different things the second time around.
It's still too fresh to do it, though, where it wouldn't be as thrilling. So
Yeah.
I would need to give it like a year.
I love that you love to read.
Did we watch The Weddings from Love is Blind?
I heard about them, and I'm so disappointed. So let's
No,
dive
don't
into
spoil.
it.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
You didn't watch them?
I can't watch them until Chris comes home from this work trip. So
Okay.
I've been staying off Instagram. I don't know what happened. No one tell me.
That gives me time to watch them tonight. But yeah, I heard some things about Love is Blind as far as the weddings and everything. So we're not going to talk about it until Chris gets back and until Nicole, you get ready to catch up. But I'm going to watch it for myself tonight since I have more time. When does Chris return again? I keep forgetting.
He gets home at like 1 in the morning, which is good because he has to take one of our dogs to the vet tomorrow because he hurt himself, and I've been dealing with a limping dog all week, which is the saddest thing in the world.
You told me about that.
So sad. I mean, when they look at you and they're helpless, I'm like, I can't even carry you. So it's been a
Poor
struggle.
baby. Yeah.
But Chris has to take him for x-rays tomorrow. So
No.
hopefully he's not delayed.
You're such an amazing dog, Mommy.
Charlie was the cutest puppy ever.
Yeah.
Oh, Coda's the one who's injured, but
I
Charlie
know, it
was...
just reminded me, like that video that you posted, I was like, how is he even a real dog?
He was 4 pounds when I got him. He used to sit in my cup holder in my car. When we would drive, I would put him in the front seat and try to buckle him in because he was too small for the back, and he would literally sit in my cup holder.
He's so cute.
I know.
He is. He's so handsome. I loved when we had that party for him, the dog party when we were on the show. I was like, happy birthday, nephew. And then when you posted all those photos of him, that reel, I was like, he is so handsome.
Oh, my
We've been
gosh.
talking about getting a puppy.
Yeah, get
I
Hank
know,
up
I
front.
always want to, and then I always get told no because we don't have a yard.
What are y'all's options?
I think we want a lab.
Okay.
I will bring it up, and I just stop bringing it up because I'm like, we're not going to get a dog. And now he's been bringing it up, he's looking at dogs on his phone, and he's like, so do we want last night? He was like, do we want what color lab would we want? And I was like,
What you need to do is go to an adoption event that he doesn't know is an adoption event. And you just see all these puppies there up for adoption. And how do you not come home with one?
you have to get one
You have to. It's
so cute.
illegal not to.
So where do they have these adoption events?
everywhere.
Everywhere. Like
Are
in
you
parks. Yeah. They'll do them at pet shops, but they'll have them at events in parks. I can't think of anything else but parks, but they have them quite frequently where they'll bring...
You can have them at you can actually pay a donation to have wags and walks at your event. If I host one at Sleigh Bay, I can bring them to Sleigh Bay, and they'll bring 3 to 5 puppies.
When's the next time your man's getting a haircut?
I know, right? It's you have to. It's a donation. I think it's $500 to $1,000 for a couple hours, but it goes straight to them. to like the dogs and stuff, but we'll see.
Wow.
We like go back and forth. We're like, do we want like a cream one or a chocolate? We're like thinking of all different colors because then all of our furniture is cream. So we're like, what color dog will we? I don't know.
How do you think Hank would behave with the new brother or sister?
Hank would love it. He loves other dogs.
Okay, good.
He just got dropped off at my mom's.
He's allowed back there?
He's allowed back, guys.
Oh, nice.
He wore out his welcome, and now we forgot. I did have a crate that we have an extra one of his crates, and so I kind of bribed with that because my mom needs it. So I'm like, hey, if I give you this crate, because it's like one of those huge industrial, like big ones, like $250 crate. I'm like, will you watch Hank? She will always say yes. It's my poor stepdad that like works overnights that for whatever reason, all the storms of Nashville had to hit that last weekend that they watched him. So, and Hank will jump on your face. Like, he does not let you sleep. So, I totally understand why they wouldn't want to keep him, but they did. They understood that it's likely not going to storm this weekend.
That's sweet of them to take him back.
But he starts crying. Like, when I turn onto my parents' street, it probably takes like 3 to 4 minutes to get to their house, and he starts crying the minute that we turn on the street, like loudly crying. His tail's like wagging like crazy. He's like, let me out right now. I'm so excited. He loves it. And they live on an acre, so he like runs into the backyard and says hi to the chickens, and they throw the frisbee, and he just like zooms everywhere.
He needs to go see them more often since he loves it over there.
Loves it. And they've got 3 dogs. My mom was like, if you find a lab, let us know because they want. I'm like, you guys want a 4th dog?
That's too many.
No, they don't. My mom wants 6 dogs. Like, she does not care.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm that way. I want 1 million.
But then what do you do with them when you go away? This is the problem.
They don't.
Like, I want 1 million dogs, but I can barely leave the house with 3. I literally don't know what we would do with 4.
I think what happens when you get in your 60s is you, like, don't go away. Like, my mom has not traveled since she moved to Nashville. She just is always home, so she can have as many animals as she wants because she never goes anywhere. You know? She chills.
As far as having like 6+ dogs, which is like a whole kennel and like a whole dog pound, I feel like the only way you could travel with all those dogs, you know how they haul the horses when they have the trailer of horses?
A trailer of dogs running
Oh my God,
around.
I would love that.
Well, let's see. I'm currently 37, so I'll be 60 in how many years? 20, wait, no, 30? I'm bad at math, y'all.
Okay, Gina, you
can have 6
in
dogs.
under 20 years.
I'm saying when I get into my, like, from 30 years from now, I might be traveled out, maybe by that time. So, like, my next phase of life would be to just have a ton of, like, cute animals, like dogs, like what my mom's doing, like chickens.
Or you maybe just have to hire somebody to house sit and they watch all the animals.
Yeah.
Well, when my dad, when he was just in the line of Hurricane Milton, he literally couldn't evacuate because he has so many animals. Like, I mean, theoretically he could have, but he was like, I'm not going to leave the animals. But at a certain point, like, nature is nature. You can't, it's not like he could bring the goats and chickens and ducks and everything in his house. So he just protected them as much as he could. He brought the outside cats in. So he had these like kittens, whatever, with 900 dogs. So he did the best he could, but he couldn't leave because he's like, what do I do with my goats? Like, they're 10-year-old mini goats. Like, I'm not putting them in a car. And
so to my point again, once you get into your 60s, the goals shift to have lots of cute animals.
You better pack them billy goats up. You better make a little designated area for them. I don't know. That's why I just, having animals is a responsibility. It's almost like having children. You have to give them attention, give them love and affection, and feed them and play with them and everything. So,
Kirsten, did you learn the name of your stepdog daughter yet?
no.
What? It's like you don't do anything
You don't
he
even
asks
like
you.
dogs.
Do you not like dogs, Kirsten? Because we're going to kick you off this podcast.
No, I love dogs. Let's not kick me off, and let's not say that I'm not a dog lover.
She doesn't like dogs, people. Come for her.
He's about to get like a bunch of DMs.
I have a whole bunch of dogs in my
I
family.
love dogs, I promise.
Yeah, didn't you get a dog from Jasmine for your mom?
Yeah, her name is Bonita, which means beautiful in Espanol.
I didn't know
Bonita.
that was her name.
Yeah, see, I know my baby's names. Maybe not the other one that we were talking about, but
Bonita baby.
The
my
blood
main baby.
dogs, the blood relatives.
Yeah. Cause who, I'm trying to think about
The blood relative.
the step dog, which one? The daughter, the god dog? I don't recall.
It's okay. We forgive you.
Okay, great. Yay.
I don't know if we ever talked about it on the podcast, but Chris and I are both bakers. We're both like decent chefs. He enjoys cooking more than I do. I do not enjoy cooking, but there are a few signature meals that I excel at. But we're both excellent bakers. But the problem is now that we don't go into an office and we don't see people regularly during the week, when we bake, we eat it all. So we try not to bake. But for my birthday, he made me this extravagant 19-layer cookie butter cake, which was phenomenal. And we had to throw half of it out because we couldn't finish it all. But for his birthday, since it was the other day and he was away, while he's at the vet tomorrow, I'm going to make him a pistachio cake with a cream cheese buttercream. And everyone is invited for cake because it's 3 layers and it's probably going to be literally more than we can chew. So,
And it's this weekend.
yes. And you won't be
Always
here.
gone.
But I can bake for you again. I'm really excited to make this because I've never made a pistachio cake before, but I love pistachio and I feel like it's a fall-ish flavor without being pumpkin, even though he loves pumpkin, but I don't like pumpkin. And even though it's his birthday, I'm not making something that I won't eat.
So, walk me through the basics of a pistachio cake. Do you like finely chop, like in a chopper, the pistachios and then...
Yeah, I'll pulse them in a food processor
that's
so
the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
so they'll get really, really fine. So it's basically a version of a vanilla cake, but with pistachios and almond extract in addition to vanilla extract.
Kind of like a carrot cake, how they like
Yeah.
finely slice up carrot.
Exactly. And then I'll put crumbled pistachios on the buttercream in between each layer so it has a little bit of, not a crunch, but it has a little texture to it. So it should be moist but texturized.
Are you going to make the buttercream icing green?
Of course, yeah.
Ooh, you have to send us pictures of this.
I'm over here thinking that Chris was the baker.
Well, we both are, which is the problem because I was like, I love baking. I really want to be with a man who loves cooking. And they gave me a fellow baker. But he enjoys cooking more than I do.
Yeah, when he baked those chocolate chip cookies when y'all used to live downtown, those were delicious.
So good. We need to hang more because we're cooks in this house.
Yeah.
Not bakers.
Do a showdown barbecue and a showdown bake show.
I told y'all my man's got 4 grills. That was his
Wow.
COVID hobby, learning how to grill. So he's got the smoker, the Blackstone, the egg, all the things.
Well, we can do a potluck.
Yeah, potluck can happen. But my sister, my brother, and my dad, they all smoke food and barbecue food. They know how to do all of that. I'll eat it, but I'm not really a barbecue person.
Are you even Southern?
I love some grilled chicken and grilled veggies and grilled salmon.
With a side of air.
And a
Yeah,
side
I
of
love a
pear.
good half of a walnut.
Love some steamed broccoli.
I'm just a fool.
Charred on the grill. Broccoli.
Yummy.
You can hold the barbecue sauce. It's not for me.
Kirsten eats everyone. We promise she eats, but we like to just make fun of her because I personally do it because I wish I enjoyed the steamed chicken and broccoli as much as you do.
Y'all are hilarious. I will tell y'all this. I do love a good loaded baked potato or some loaded nachos. Barbecue nachos or barbecue baked potato, like with some pulled pork in the potato with cheese and barbecue. Love those. I'll eat those any day.
Do you eat a kid size or a full size of those?
Full size.
Whoa.
Tear them up.
You must really like them.
And then I feel so awful after indulging. I'm like, oh, I feel guilty.
What do you have, one a year?
Yeah. Every blue moon.
This is so random, completely not anywhere we were just talking, but I know we told everyone we were going to watch Married at First Sight, and truly the three of us have been super, super, super busy. But Chris and I watched the first episode, and I honestly, like, we really couldn't get into it. I think because at this point we're so jaded and we're like, just get to the meat and potatoes of this. Like, I don't need to see all this nonsense before the wedding. But this is a little inside information. I know our listeners like to hear behind the scenes. I got really annoyed. I know you two didn't watch it yet, but it's not a spoiler alert because we know they end up at least getting married. The first couple they showed, Camille and Thomas, I think. Camille, the bride, has this like freak out before she walks down the aisle. And she's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. Everyone's going to be mad at me, but I don't know if I'm ready for this. Obviously, just like nerves, totally understandable. And they were trying to make it like, is this another runaway bride situation, whatever. But she obviously just needed a moment to collect herself. And her friends were like, you know, you made it all this way. You're just nervous, whatever. And then in comes a producer who they rarely show producers behind the scenes because, you know, they're not supposed to be there. But they show a producer. And before I even saw her face, I knew what producer this was going to be. And she was just bullying her. She's like, you came all this way and you're not going to do it. Like, you came all this way and you're going to disappoint everyone. And it was this one producer. I will not say her name. She's probably not listening to this, but even if she is, I don't care. She came on our crew the last few weeks. And when I tell you, I have never felt like such a contentious relationship with someone that I didn't even know. She was, without saying her name, you'll know who I'm talking about. We were at the couples retreat, and I think we were in Gina's room. So it was the producer, Gina, and I, and we were talking about the respectable way to go about trying to get information. Because, as our listeners know, we've talked about this many times, producers would stand in the groups and hold up on their phones what they wanted us to say. So let's say Kirsten and I were talking about something, and they wanted us to ask where Gina was. They would hold up a phone and be like, where's Gina? Where's Gina? So we would say, oh, where's Gina? Right? And obviously it's very uncomfortable when you're trying to have a conversation and people are flashing phones at you, bringing up talking points that you don't want to organically mix into your conversation. So we were talking to her about the appropriate way to do that, where you can pull someone aside and say, hey, we'd love to learn X, Y, and Z information if you could somehow bring it up in a way you're comfortable with in this conversation. So we have this conversation, right? And this was after Kirsten and Shaq had gone back home from the couples retreat because he had work, school. There was a reason, I can't remember, whatever. So we're sitting in this hot tub with all the jets off. We're playing this really uncomfortable game of Never Have I Ever. And we're all drinking. This is where Clint is like spraying champagne everywhere. And she's like, Nicole, can I talk to you for a second? So she makes me get out of the hot tub, where I'm in a bathing suit, I'm soaking wet. I get out of the hot tub, I'm freezing cold. And I'm like, oh, what is it? And she's like, so Kirsten and Shaq aren't here. And I know that you and Kirsten are really close. So why don't you go back in the hot tub and talk to them about Kirsten and Shaq's sex life? I was like, are you kidding me? She was like, no, I think people will really want to hear it from you because you and her are so close. I was like, 1, none of my business. 2, I don't even know what's going on. And 3, why would you pull me out of the hot tub to make me say this? So I was so annoyed and I really didn't like her. And because I said no, she was like, well, this is how you told me was the respectable way to ask for things. I was like, no,
back on you.
Not really.
Shame on her.
I was so annoyed. And then I heard her voice. I was like, this bitch again is trying to bully people into getting what she wants. And that's not how you talk to people in high stress situations. So Camille, if you're listening to this, girl, we get it. You were nervous and you needed a moment. And she ended up going down the aisle and it looked like they had a very lovely wedding. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
That kind of stuff gets me so fired up. Because I remember I got a lot of that for, like, not wanting to move in. And it became this big, like, why don't you want to move in? You don't want to. I was like, oh, my gosh, I never said that I didn't want to move in. I said I just want, like, a day to think about some things and process them. And, like, we just had such a hard trip. It's like they won't allow you to have space at any point in time. That's one of the hardest. You know, I know we always say, like, the pressure cooker. That's it. The pressure cooker is that you get looked at like you're crazy for wanting something that's very rational.
Yeah.
And for having like a very valid feeling of like, okay, yeah, like I'm super excited to move in. We've been away for 2 weeks. Remember, we couldn't even stay in our apartments after the wedding. And then we go on the wedding, and then our honeymoon was really difficult. I was ready at one point to like fly home and just quit the process altogether. And then we get home and we have to film right when we get off the airplane, go back to the apartments, film. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, are you ready to move in and go for the next step? And they kept pressuring that conversation of like physical attraction every second that we saw them. They're like, okay, let's talk about your physical attraction. Let's talk about that, like, over and over. So in my mind, I was like, I just don't want to have this conversation anymore. So the only thing I can do is not move in. But in a viewer's mind, it's like, she's not giving him a chance and she doesn't want to move in. It's like, no, that's not at all it. Like, you wouldn't want to be in a situation where, let's say you're around someone and you like don't want to kiss them, and they're like, no, why don't you want to kiss them? Like, over and over and over and over for 6 days straight. You're like, okay, maybe I'll go hide in a closet for one day so that they can't ask me that question. Yeah. That's like all I wanted to do was just get away for a minute.
I really feel like I had an amazing producer, honestly. It was only maybe 2 times where it was moments to where I got a little frustrated with him. But other than that, I feel like once I make it very clear, like, okay, I've answered your question. We're not going to harp on this. Don't keep harping on this, because I will be done for the rest of the night. I won't say anything else, because I would just shut down, because I already had communicated how I felt and what I was thinking. So I'm not going to entertain anything other than what I just said. I'm not entertaining whatever you want me to do. If I said I didn't want to do it, no, that's not how this works. So find something else to talk about. And they would already know that with me. Once they would try to manipulate or create some type of topic or conversation, and if I wasn't interested, I would let them know, like, no.
No.
I actually did end up loving my producer too.
Yeah, but my whole thing is like, you don't give any pushback, then they'll keep trying to take advantage of you. And so I just always know, like, not to allow people to take advantage of me, because I am very kind. So I had to learn that on the front end, like, just stand your ground.
Yeah, we definitely had to do that. I mean, we had a moment where, like, they sent all the cameras in and brought in the head producers, because we were like, we're not doing this anymore. So we'll either stop today and, like, literally stop altogether, or you can stop pressuring this conversation that clearly has become this big, like, miscommunication, and making us talk about it every single time that we sit down to, like, get to know each other.
And even when I was watching, like, Love is Blind, like, one couple, they had a lot of surface level conversation, and majority of their conversations were just like, okay, y'all are wasting airtime, because neither one of them were taking the conversation seriously until it was almost time to stop sharing their story. And so I'm like, well, then I'm like, they didn't have a good producer helping them out, because here they are wasting airtime, not even talking about anything seriously. I'm like, okay, what is the point of this conversation? Go on to the next couple. But I feel like it takes a good producer, because I will say we had several, because we had 2, right? So one stuck with us the entire way, which I love him still. And then,
well, your first producer was the best.
She was. I loved her. And she was married too. So it's like, I always feel like that's an advantage as well, because you're hearing feedback from someone, that is married. So I'm like, okay,
she was older. She was seasoned.
Yeah, she was amazing. I loved her and her husband. And when they left, I was so sad. I'm like, here we go with these kids.
Well, her husband actually worked on the audio team
about this,
and he was on the red team. That was mine and Chris's team. And the dog incident on the honeymoon, he actually, I don't know how he got my phone number, but he got my number, and he was like, save this in your phone as some random name. And he texted me this whole thing about how they plotted it, how it was this whole big scheme. He was like, don't listen to what they're saying. Push back on them. Like, if they say that you can't have the dog, say that they're lying. So he really gave us the tool. I mean, we didn't see this until after we were filming, but he gave us what we needed to be able to have that conversation and stand our ground, because we were still so new. We didn't know we could push back. But I was like, okay. I think like in our phone is Roberto. I should go check. But he honestly saved our lives. And when they left, that was a sad day for all of us. But
It
they
was.
they had integrity as
Yes.
behind the scenes people
They're like,
and
we thought this
couldn't.
was a marriage documentary.
Right. And they were like, why are we manipulating these people and making it so they're set up for failure versus success? And I respect them for leaving on that note, but I was sad because I love them. And I know you did too, Kirsten.
They were so sweet. And I'm still in contact with both of my producers. And whenever I go out to LA, I get to see them sometimes. I'm like, hey, where are you? I'm out here.
It's always weird sometimes that we're like, oh yeah, we had producers.
I know, right?
Yeah, I wish we would have known on day one that we could push back. I probably would have moved right in.
If someone else is making me feel uncomfortable, I don't like that. And I don't think it's fair to treat anyone like that, no matter what circumstance you're in. If it's a job, if it's filming, no matter where you are, if you're just out and about, I don't think that that's okay.
Like specifically with this Camille and Thomas thing, like I understand the producers have to do their jobs. I get it. She's about to walk down the aisle. I get it. We're all waiting. Like we want her to get down the aisle, but that is a moment that needs empathy and not bullying. It was honestly very triggering because I wish I could have gone through the TV and just been like, girlfriend, take 5 minutes, think about this off camera. If you really don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't do it because a producer says you made it all this way and you're not going to do it. Like, you should do it, but don't marry because you feel like you're being peer pressured. And it gave me such an ick because I was like, this is why people get into situations they don't want to be in because they get pressured by the people who are there to protect them. But that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, I definitely agree that empathy should be shown during that time, and it is a way to treat someone. But at the end of the day, she also signed the contract, and she also signed up for this show. So, yeah, have your moment, but at the same time, girl, you got to go down the aisle. Because I was scared for my life. I was terrified. I almost just, like, tears almost started rolling down my eyes after I got off the elevator before walking down the aisle. I was, like, shaking.
But if you needed a moment, you should have been able to take a moment. Not like an hour, but...
They weren't over there. The producers weren't near me just yet. But my cousin was like, take all the time you need.
The party doesn't start till you walk in, and they probably had Shaq standing up there for 4 hours already, so what's an extra 5 minutes?
That's what I was going to say, too. It's like, it is so easy. I think about this with Love is Blind, too, but it's like, we really don't know how much time they're doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it might have been 6 hours and that was what they should, you know what I mean? Like we don't know. It probably wasn't, knowing this person. Sometimes I'm like, do these producers have like, did they get bullied growing up and they're like trying to get back at life?
I think it's a source of pride. Like she wasn't going to walk down the aisle, but I got her to do it. Like, no.
Or she better walk down the aisle or I'm not going to have a job.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Is what it probably was.
Yeah.
This same producer yelled at me because I didn't want to do the talent show. Remember the talent show at the couples retreat that they told us we had to do, and only one couple had a talent, and I told her that we were not doing it, and instead we were going to play a really fun game, and she was like, so you're not doing the talent show. So you're not doing it. I was like, lady, we're not doing it.
We're not doing it.
She kept coming in the living room. She's like, so are we doing the talent show? She was like clapping, like, are
And
we
we're like,
doing it?
clearly,
Like, we're not.
We're not.
Jasmine and Eris had a talent, which was the ventriloquist act, which I have to say was phenomenal. But I would have rather watched them perform for 2 hours than whatever talents we were going to try to come up with last minute. So I was like, I will bite you back. Biatch.
I forgot what Clint and I were going to try to do.
Magic.
Yeah, it was magic, but I was like, Clint, we don't know any magic. We didn't learn any.
Exactly.
I can't remember what we were going to do either. We were trying to think of our talent on the way there. Nicole, what were you guys?
We were going to do like, how do I describe it? Kind of like Mad Libs, but Jimmy Fallon does it. I can't really think of a better way to describe it. It's funny when Jimmy Fallon does it, which means Chris and I probably would have been cringy as all hell. But it was because it had to be a couple talent. It couldn't be like
an individual talent.
an individual. I don't know what kind of act, but we wanted magic, but Gina and Clint took it. But it's okay. We didn't end up doing it.
Gina, what type of magic show are y'all going to have? I only know one magic trick, and I'll have to show y'all when I see y'all. I think I learned it on
You can do magic?
just one trick. It's the quarter trick. And I used to show everybody this trick. I either have one trick or one joke. That's all I have. And so I can't remember if I saw this on TV, but I've always wanted to go to a magic show. I'm obsessed. And so you flip the coin, but you take the quarter to the back of your hand before you even do the trick.
You're revealing your secrets?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you.
Person.
I know. So you take the quarter to the back of your hand, and so I'll flick it in the air, and I'll be like, Nicole, call it. And I'll flick it, but you'll never know that the quarter's taped to this hand. And I'm like, heads or tails. And then I go like this real fast, and you still won't know that the quarter's taped to my hand.
Well, now I'll know.
And then you'll see it. Well, I'll learn a new trick.
Have you been to House of Cards?
No. One night we tried to go. It was pouring down raining. We missed our reservation, and I was over it, and we went home. I've been trying to go there for years.
Well, for anyone who is in Nashville or visiting Nashville, House of Cards is a place I highly recommend. You have to eat dinner there in order to go to the magic show. And the food is actually not that great and very overpriced, but the experience makes it worth it because there's tableside magic and not like cheesy birthday party magic, like old school like mind game magic. And they do tableside magic. And then there's an actual magic show where you have to get an entree in order to go to the show. And Chris took me for my birthday the first year we were married. And the magician was like, do I have any volunteers? So obviously my hand shot up like faster than it's ever been raised in its entire life. And he brought me on stage and I literally read a woman's mind. Like I was a mind reader and she picked a book and he was like, go to any page, go to any line, read it in your head, think about it. And he had me guess what the first word was. I think it was photographer and I said photograph, but I basically guessed it.
Yeah, right.
I swear on my life, I still have the paper somewhere where I wrote it down and she had to point to the word and I had to write it down and I wrote down photograph and it was photographer or maybe the other way around, but it was some variation of that. Like, how did I know that?
Because you're gifted.
Because I'm a witch.
You're a witch.
But yes, everyone should go there and they don't allow cameras inside, so no one's taking pictures, and it's just really magical.
I'm going to the magic show, to House of Cards.
So fun. I need to do more social things.
With all your free time?
Yeah. I don't know when I got so damn busy, but it never ends. It's like
We record this podcast at like 8 o'clock at night now. We try to have special guests for you guys, but imagine trying to make plans with two of your friends who have completely opposite schedules from you and everyone is totally busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine having to do that on a certain time schedule so we can make sure we get these things edited and ready for you guys every Wednesday. If you ever wonder why sometimes we seem a little scattered, just imagine making plans with those kinds of friends and you'll enter our lives.
Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
Well, yeah, you're the problem, but we're all the problem because we all got lives.
I just have 4, I would say at least 3 full-time jobs.
We make it happen, though. That's what matters. We make it work.
It is always funny because, like, my man's gotten used to my schedule, but it's very hard with hair because there isn't a time clock. You know, it's not like 5 o'clock hits and I'm like, actually, I'm going to leave these foils in because it's 5.
Yeah.
And I got to go. So we can start back tomorrow at 9, but like my work day's over.
Imagine.
And like everybody's, yeah, right? Their hair would fall out. And everyone's hair is different and everyone comes in different. But even today, I'm like trying to learn the beauty of blocking my time on my admin days because I'm like, my brain dump list is so long, but I treat that sometimes like my to-do list. And I'm like, that's not my to-do list. Like I need to work on like your top 3 things and not understanding that like those 3 things will likely take 2 weeks, not 1 day.
Yeah.
It's figuring it out.
All progress.
Figuring it out.
That's right. That's all you can do.
I know. Bae's like, what time are you coming home? And I'm like, I'll be done in 30 minutes. And he's like, an hour and a half. What? But he does have dinner ready for me 98% of my life. I sometimes get annoyed because I'm like, ugh, quit asking. Like, I always tell you I don't know. And he's literally only asking so that dinner is, like, ready to plate the minute that I walk in the door.
That's a
So that we
good
can
man.
sit down and eat together.
That's a good man, Savannah.
He's not trying to rush me, and I'm like, all gas, no break over here. So I'm like, quit rushing me. He's like, all right, I just want to cook for you. It's fine. Just call me when you're done.
Maybe we'll do a live from the salon podcast because I need to get my 35-year-old grays done. So maybe we'll record while I'm in some foils.
Come on with it.
I see that foil, girl.
Maybe we'll do a live from the salon and we can get some video footage of Gina doing my hair, and Kirsten always comes in for support because if you can't have your best friends there while you're looking ugly with foils, then what can you count on them for?
Nothing.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Reach out on Instagram and have a happy Halloween spooky season.
Woo!